Ask and you shall receive. Yo, it's me, it's the SCOTT, baby. And I'm here with my review of the 1994 film Pulp Fiction, starring John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, and is directed by Quentin Tarantino. Let's do this. What do I mean? First, before I start, I should explain, what do I mean by asking you shall receive? Well, let's probably get that up. One of my subscribers, who happens to also be a good friend of mine, he asked me to review some Quentin Tarantino films. Well, I don't have much to work with. I've already reviewed Once Upon a Time in... Hold on. I've already reviewed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so go look for that one. And I have a couple. This one, I have Natural Born Killers, which he wrote, and there's a couple I have two on my Vudu that I can watch, or one that you can watch on Vudu for free. But you know, I'm in the middle of two big sort of series reviews. I got the Sly Mania reviews that I have to finish yet. I'm doing the DCEU, so I can't start a whole nother thing where I find a whole you start reviewing, a whole bunch. So you're gonna get one for me, okay, right, man? Pulp Fiction. Before I begin, one more thing. If you do have a request for a movie you want me to review, anyone out there, I'm not gonna start a Patreon because I don't need extra money. I have a job. Well, not right now because of what's going on, but I normally would have a job, so I have money coming in. I don't need to, I'm not even trying to make money off of YouTube. I'm doing this for fun, and it's fun when my phone doesn't fuck up. But, and I fart. Chocolate on my hands. Chocolate. I hope it's chocolate. Anyway, yeah, so if you have a request, put it on a request. If I have the movie or a way to watch the movie, I will review it. I can order it off of eBay if I have to, when everything clears, but if anything, I can write it down and eventually find a way to watch it. I don't know. But, yeah, so there you go. If you want me to, say your name, let me know. This is for, I don't know if he wants me to say his name, so I'll just say it's for E. This is for you, E. It's Pulp Fiction. So, well, I said his name here before, I guess, but I won't say the full name. Just say, this is for you, Eric. So, Pulp Fiction. Yeah, how do I do this? Because it's one of those movies like The Grudge. I did the first two Grudge movies. They're told non-linear, which means things are out of order of the way they are. And I'll show you here. I started to write down the order and then got confused as to what things were and how I'm supposed to. So we'll just start beginning of the movie. You see Pumpkin and Honey Bunny, played by Tim Roth and Amanda Plummer, and you see this conversation between them, and I don't know if they've ever been together in real life, because I didn't check on or anything, probably not, but they do have great chemistry in the scene. It really seems like they're actually a couple, and then you get the end of the scene where they grab their guns, turn around, and Amanda Plummer, no, dude, why don't you move? Or something like that. I don't know, but my favorite parts are the parts where Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta are together, because that's, like, when they're in the car and they're talking about how different countries call certain items different things. Like, what they call a quarter pound of cheese in Paris? They call it a Royale with cheese. Yeah, but what do they call a Big Mac? Sorry, my stutter. Yeah, but what? Stop stuttering. Yeah, what do they call a Big Mac? A Big Mac's a Big Mac. they call it that Big Mac. That Big Mac. And then he makes a statement about how they put mayonnaise on their fries. And you know what? You know, they say it's gross, but I've had mayonnaise, and I dipped my fries in mayonnaise before. It's not that bad, actually. So it's... I don't know. I don't think it's an international thing. Anyone can do that if they want to, I guess. But yeah, that's one of my favorite lines. Roll out with cheese. I think most of my lines... The whole thing with I often quote Samuel L. Jackson from this movie, to be honest. The whole, what? What ain't no country I haven't heard of? They speak English and what? What? English, motherfucker, do you speak it? What? Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time. You know, and I absolutely love it. And then when he's at the diner later, and then he pulls the gun out and he asks for his wallet back, and they ask which one his, and it's the one that says "bad motherfucker" on it. You know, because Samuel L. Jackson's catchphrase. You know, every movie I watch with Samuel L. Jackson in it, I wait for him to say "motherfucker" because that's his catchphrase. You know, like the Long Kiss Goodnight, the Long Kiss Goodnight, which I already reviewed for Christmas reviews. Waiting for him to say it, and it's at the end when he comes barreling in after you think he's dead, and he comes barreling in with the car. You can't kill me, motherfucker! You know? Die Hard, I think it takes even longer for him to... Die Hard with a Vengeance, it takes even longer for him to say it, because I was waiting for him to say it, but... It's his catchphrase. You know? And I'm not sure when this is supposed to be taking place. The clothes that they wear make it seem like the 70s and the music you listen to and stuff, but then Vincent has a cellular telephone, which were popularized to the mid-90s, which is when this movie was made, in 1994. The little flip one, hello, you know. So, who knows? I mean, because look at the clothes, you know, Vince Vega, he has that kind of hair thing. Got the little Jerry curls, and then used to weigh, you know. Let's talk about Bruce Willis's part in this movie. It's just kind of... There's a chunk of this movie. We start his story with Christopher Walken showing up with a watch that he's apparently shoved up his ass. I wouldn't take that watch even if I was a kid. But apparently that, you know, it's his father's watch, apparently. And he cares so much about that watch that even though he's on the run from Marcellus Wallace, he berates his girlfriend for leaving at the apartment, then goes back to get said watch from apartment, knowing that Marcellus Wallace could possibly have sent someone there to kill him. That's how much this watch means to him. If it was me, I'd be like, oh, bitch forgot the watch. You know what? My life is not... I love that watch. It was my dad's watch. But, I'm sorry, my life is not more important than a stupid watch. I'll get a new one. All right? It's just, you know. And then we got to talk about the scene where... Okay, how do I talk about this without getting demonetized? So it's the scene where Marcellus Wallace and Bruce Willis are tied up by these two thugs, one of which is Dorian Tyrell from The Mask. And so they take Marcellus Wallace into the other room, and the guy from The Mask puts a ball gag in Marcellus Wallace's mouth and proceeds to bend him over and do the poop hole with the thingy. You don't see it, but it's when you have the sound off on the TV and you happen to look up from your phone and see that, and you go, "Hey!" because you forgot that was in the movie. It's a little jarring. Imagine if you didn't know that was in the movie. I knew it was in the movie, but I forgot. Oh, okay. Anyway, After that scene, we get a pretty cool scene of Bruce Willis with a samurai sword or katana coming in, slashing a guy across the chest, and saving Marcellus Wallace. That's pretty cool. And of course, you get to see him on a motorcycle because he rides Marcellus Wallace's motorcycle. But yeah, it's right here. The dance scene is one of my favorite scenes of this movie. C'est la vie, say the yo folks. Goes to show you never can tell. One question. There are two things you never get an answer to in this movie. One, did they win the dance contest? It's never said. And two, what the hell was in that briefcase? I mean, I know it's supposedly just a fluorescent light bulb or something like that, but we're never told exactly within the contents of the movie what's in there, you know? And yeah, so okay, we'll stick with the Vegas stuff. She gets okay, so there's a scene earlier in the film where Vincent goes and gets some heroin from Lance, played by Eric Stoltz. And so it's shown that Mia likes cocaine. Whatever your preference is. But here's the thing. Because she uses cocaine so much, she should know what cocaine is or something else, right? So when they get back from the little date or whatever, she's going through, she has his jacket on and decides to go through his pockets and finds the bag of heroin. She thinks it's cocaine, so she tries to snort it. And I'm not sure, I mean, Vincent calls it an overdose, but I'm not sure that's what you call it if you snort heroin. And misuse? I don't know. So he takes her, my bad, back to Lance's house, but how he calls on the cellular and he says, I'm coming to your house. Don't come to my house. Are you on a cellular phone? I don't know who you are. Who am I talking to? And then next thing you hear a crash. Because you see, he drives on Lance's lawn and crashes into his house. And they use this got me going because I hate needles. They're jamming into her. And she wakes up and she's sitting there with the needle sticking out of her boobie, her breasts. And it's just like, take it out, because I just can't look at it. Take it out. And then they make a deal not to tell Marcellus Wallace because she said that she would be in just as big of trouble as he would. I don't think, and it's like he says, I doubt that. It was his heroin in his jacket that he left with her, and he went off to the bathroom to talk himself through saying goodbye. Took forever to do it. And it's like leaving a child. Yeah, leaving a child, like you go off and leave a child without supervision, and they hurt themselves on something. Is the kid going to get in as much trouble as the person who left the kid alone? No. It's the person who left the kid alone that's going to get in trouble because they should have known better. And yes, I'm not saying that Mia is a kid, but she thought it was cocaine because apparently she can't tell the difference. I would be able to tell the difference either. I'm not a drug person, to be honest with you, but I'm just saying. And then we get another one of my favorite lines when it cuts back to the whole thing. Well, that's that is a tasty burger. That's another line from earlier, but it's when they take Marvin, Vincent and Jules take Marvin into the car, and the whole time, Vincent has the gun like this, and he's talking to him, and the gun goes off and shoots Marvin in the face. And that's where he said, oh, shit, what the hell happened? I just shot Marvin in the face. And so they have to call in the cleaner. I think he's called the Wolf. And it's Harvey Keitel. They go to Jimmy's house, this guy Jimmy. And I couldn't find anything about it, but I've heard that the character of Jimmy was actually supposed to be played by someone else. and they backed out, and so Tarantino was just like, "Fuck it, I'll do it." So yeah, and they get the cleaner, they get new clothes, you know. One thing I want to point out, which they don't directly show it, and it's a little bit weird for me to talk about it. It's the scene where Bruce Willis is in the car with Fabian and she's driving and he's smoking, whatever. And he puts the cigarette in his mouth and it's lit and everything. And he goes to put his shirt on and it cuts away and it comes back and he's just putting his shirt on like nothing. How did he put his shirt on over the cigarette? I understand if you got like a tank top or something, but it looked like a t-shirt. I don't know, it was really weird. A really weird cut. I don't know. And I think they were talking about blueberry pancakes, and I kind of want blueberry pancakes now. I don't know. Overall, this movie's pretty good. The end. Okay, Vincent goes to the bathroom to take a shit. The longest shit in history, apparently, because a robbery happens. And, you know, his partner's held at gunpoint. You got, what I laughed at is you got Honey Bunny standing on the fucking counter with a gun pointed at Samuel Jackson. He's just like, point the gun at Pumpkin, like, we gonna sit down? What's Fonzie like? He's cool. We're gonna be cool. You gotta put your hands down on the table. You can sit down. You're gonna be cool. You know, it's like he doesn't care. There's a woman with a gun. She just stands there, and then Vincent finally comes out and taking his shit, and he's pointing the gun at her. And so you got like 3 guns being pointed. And all because they wanted to take the briefcase. And then they show them it's a briefcase and they're like, no. And then they just walk away after tucking the guns into their boxer shorts, whatever little short thingies. All in all, this is a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to sit here and, like I said, and do a whole marathon of Tarantino movies, but I figured this one's good enough to, satisfy his Tarantino needs for now. So, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's my favorite Tarantino film, but then again, I haven't seen a lot of them. I've seen this, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Natural Born Killers, which he wrote. But, so it's a 9 out of 10. So what are your thoughts on Pulp Fiction? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.